Welcome to The Explainer. So, you've probably walked into a high-end hotel lobby, a corporate office, or maybe a fine dining restaurant and just been completely mesmerized by this massive, glowing aquarium, right? It's peaceful, it's beautiful, and it feels completely effortless. But there is actually a really complex, unseen reality operating just below the surface of that tranquil water. We're talking about a whole lot of engineering chaos that the fish are completely oblivious to. Today, we're uncovering exactly what it takes to pull off these commercial aquatic masterpieces, moving way past the pretty fish to look at the real engineering and planning that actually makes them possible.
Okay, let's dive into this, literally. Aquariums are no longer just decorative add-ons. They've really evolved into experience-focused amenities. When they're thoughtfully designed, a commercial aquarium actually reduces the perceived stress of anyone walking into that room. It adds this incredible visual destination appeal. But beyond just looking good, it acts as this really powerful psychological signal to your customers. A pristine, thriving tank subconsciously communicates a brand's deep commitment to care, quality, and meticulous attention to detail.
So, here is our roadmap for today's explainer. We're going to cover 1. The commercial aquarium experience. 2. Perfect placement and species. 3. Reliability and water safety. 4. Budgeting for ongoing care. And finally, number 5, the blueprint for success.
All right, Section 1, the commercial aquarium experience, beyond decorations. We know from the data that commercial aquariums actively reduce perceived stress for guests while creating incredibly memorable, photo-worthy destinations. Imagine these multi-view designs that actually encourage guests to linger, completely transforming the entire vibe of a waiting area. But while getting this perfect, effortless, above-the-surface look is amazing for a brand, we really have to acknowledge that it requires some serious, highly choreographed work behind the scenes. I mean, we're talking about thousands of pounds of water and incredibly delicate biosystems here.
And this brilliantly illustrates what I like to call the iceberg pivot. On one side, you have your standard home setup. These have much lower stakes, they're highly decorative, and honestly, if the filter hums a bit too loudly, it's really no big deal. But look at the commercial installation side. You are dealing with incredibly tight operational constraints and massive public expectations. A cloudy tank in a public-facing environment doesn't just look bad, it reflects poorly on the entire business.
Moving on to Section 2, perfect placement and species, engineering the environment.
Look, you absolutely cannot just pick a spot because it looks pretty. Before a single drop of water is poured, operators have to run through a super strict pre-installation assessment checklist. We have to assess structural wall strength and floor load capacity. To put that into perspective, salt water weighs about 8.5 pounds per gallon. We also need to map out sightline placement and figure out exactly how the tank will be accessed for service. And crucially, we have to control the lighting to prevent glare, overheating, or messing with the fish's day-to-night rhythms. High-traffic public areas introduce massive challenges, from accidental impacts to building vibrations, and literally every single one of them has to be planned for.
But it's not just the hardware, right? It's the livestock. You have to meticulously match the species to the business environment. Operators must balance pure aesthetics with rigid practicality. That means prioritizing hardy, visually engaging fish in highly stable reef or freshwater systems over delicate species that might just look unique. The biological system absolutely must be able to handle temperature stability shifts, feeding schedules, and the day-to-day operational variability of a busy commercial space.
Section 3. Reliability and water safety, the unseen safeguards.
So the crucial point here is that in public venues, system reliability is absolutely non-negotiable. We aren't just talking about buying a good filter, we are talking about strict, fail-safe safeguards. This means installing robust backup power solutions for when power interruptions threaten the display. It means employing comprehensive leak containment systems so you don't accidentally flood a restaurant, and utilizing incredibly secure tank anchoring. Operators have to plan for power failures and physical security to protect the display at all times.
And that goes way beyond hardware, right down to the water chemistry. Robust monitoring and strict water testing schedules are exactly what prevent visible disasters like algae blooms or cloudy water. Proper filtration, precise heating or cooling, and optimal circulation are the invisible forces keeping that water crystal clear. Plus, operators have to account for compliance expectations that apply specifically to hospitality and dining environments. All of this ensures the fish stay healthy. After all, nobody wants to eat a luxury dinner while staring at a cloudy, algae-filled tank, right?
That brings us to Section 4, budgeting for ongoing care, the real investment.
Now, what's really interesting about this is how different business venues require completely unique operational setups. If you're running a restaurant, your maintenance strategy has to align with off-peak hours, and your design must actively avoid competing with kitchen logistics or blocking sightlines to menus. A hotel? Well, they need a maintenance strategy that minimizes guest impact, perhaps using the tank as a photo-worthy focal point right in the main lobby. An office might use it for a collaborative, calmer atmosphere where maintenance is a bit less intrusive. But across all three of these, the takeaway is crystal clear. Trained aquarium service providers are absolutely essential to handle this ongoing care so you minimize any operational disruption to your business.
And because you absolutely have to budget for that ongoing care, you also need bulletproof contingency planning. Think about it. What happens if a critical component fails on a busy Friday night? Or if a specialty food delivery gets delayed? What if you need temporary partial restocking? Having clear, actionable service protocols is a must. These protocols are the shield that protects both the welfare of the animals inside the tank and the pristine experience of the guests outside of it when the unexpected inevitably happens.
Finally, Section 5, the blueprint for success after opening day.
You see, true success in a commercial aquarium is defined by one thing: consistent performance over time. A great tank takes weeks for its biological filtration to fully mature and stabilize. It's an ecosystem that literally needs time to settle in. But when that biosystem truly locks in, that's when the recurring maintenance keeps the water parameters rock steady, making the entire display look perfectly intentional and effortless, rather than improvised.
Let's move to and see how this builds into a highly actionable blueprint for you. If you're evaluating a new commercial aquarium for your space, step 1 is to draft your architectural or interior plans, keeping in mind how color palettes and lighting tones will match your decor. Step 2 is to pair that immediately with a service-ready technical proposal. You have to marry that beautiful design with a fiercely realistic schedule for equipment, species compatibility, monitoring frequency, and service access.
It's a huge commitment for sure, but the payoff? An absolutely unforgettable environment that completely elevates your brand. So, I'll leave you with this provocative question to think about. Look around your lobby, your dining room, or your office space right now. Is your space truly ready for the commitment, the engineering, and the incredible reward of a commercial aquarium? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I hope it's given you a newfound appreciation for these aquatic displays and maybe leaves you eager to look at your own floor plans in a whole new light.